Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, a lot of things have been going on in the news in the last couple of days, and I felt compelled to make some videos talking about it, and honestly just trying to figure out what to say and which subject to pick. Today I want to talk about, well, some comments that the president said. You probably have heard them, but there may be some that still hasn't heard what he was talking about. And I'm going to play a clip of it here in just a minute. But I don't feel that I'm overreacting. I suspect there's going to be some people that's going to say, you're overreacting. He's an old man. He kind of mumbles and trips over his words. What you must realize, at least in my opinion, not just him, not just his party, but people in power, the people that run things, whether you consider it the government or just the ones that kind of run the show, those men behind the curtain, those guys, they have this disdain for you and I, for people that hold to this crazy notion that we have individual liberty, that we believe that we ourselves own our own bodies, and that we ourselves can stand up against tyranny, that we have some type of inalienable right to say no. When there's tyranny, we're going to stand up against it. That we weirdos that have believed that there's some kind of duty to moral obligation, that when a government is unjust, that we have some duty and moral obligation to stand up against it. And they really have a disdain for people like that, these patriotic people. And it's not just here in America, it's everywhere. Any country you can watch that they just cannot stand it when there are people that are willing to stand up and put their lives on the line and their sacred honor on the line to fight for this thing called freedom. They just can't stand that. They want everyone dependent upon them. And the comments that were made yesterday, in my opinion, really proved that. And if there was ever any doubt left in you that the current president, the current government, and the people that are kind of running things, if there was ever any doubt about them just not really caring about you and having this disdain, in my opinion, this little video clip should prove it. I want to go ahead and play it. Of course, he's talking about the Second Amendment. He's talking about we patriots that believe that the Second Amendment is that last-ditch safeguard against a tyrannical government. And he says many things, and there's a lot of things we can get into this, but he's in a way, he's mocking us, mocking people that believe that having the Second Amendment is something that is there to kind of be that last check and balance. And if all else fails, nothing else works, legal, political, protest, if everything else fails, the Second Amendment was placed there as that last barrier between us and tyranny. Here's what he has to say.
The Second Amendment, from the day it was passed, limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of patriots, and all the stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there never been, if you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons. The point is that there's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapon that can be owned and who can own it.
Now, there's a lot that I want to get into in just that short 40-second clip. And of course, he said more, but I, cut it down to that. And you can get online, you can watch the whole thing. I find it, he quotes, or at least attempts to quote, Thomas Jefferson and his very famous quote that the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants, that it is its natural manure. That's the quote that he's trying to fumble over. Thomas Jefferson, as many of you probably know, is considered one of the greats when it comes to this idea of liberty. I'm not going to say he is the greatest, but he is certainly up there, not just here in America, but around the world. That scholars, folks that follow and believe that we have individual freedom, this libertarian idea. Many people consider him the kind of the father of the libertarian philosophy. So this guy is quite smart, right? I mean, Thomas Jefferson was no dummy. He wasn't perfect, but he was no dummy. And he most certainly had a very firm grasp upon this concept of individual freedoms. And here we have Joe Biden saying that, that's wrong. Don't listen to that. If you believe that tree of liberty thing, then you're just crazy. I can't think of a more communist statement one could make than to say that Thomas Jefferson, one of the world's and history's most notable philosopher and statesman on this concept of individual freedom, and saying that he's absolutely wrong, that's a pretty you can't get much more statist and communist, I think, than a statement like that. And there's a little humor there, but I believe it's very true. But one of the most startling things is he's trying to make a case that the Second Amendment shouldn't be this free-for-all for guns for everyone, okay? That, it doesn't really mean shall not be infringed, right? That's not really what it means. It means that it shall not be infringed until we decide that we're going to infringe upon it. That's right. That it doesn't quite mean that. And he goes on to make this almost a passive threat that if you really think that you can take over the government, then you better get you some F-15s and nukes to go along with it, because that's what it's going to take. When you have a sitting president making a statement that the only way that you can reform and take over a government is if you have that, and that you better not even try because we got all the nukes and we got the tanks and the airplanes and stuff, so don't even try it, that's probably a pretty doggone good reason to go out and buy some guns. Because when you're hearing words spoken like that, to that level, I mean, it's no surprise that people like Biden and his ilk absolutely despise private gun ownership. They absolutely despise it, that you have this concept in your head that you have the ability, if enough of you stand up and to put down a tyrannical government. He absolutely despises that, and hit the type of person that he is. But for him to actually go to the point and say that you guys think this tree of liberty thing, it's all, you got guns and tree of liberty and blah, blah, blah. You better have some big guns if you think you're going to take us on, because we're just going to trample right over the top of you. Again, almost like it's some kind of passive threat. It's also funny to note that for the past, 6 months now, all we've heard about how these unarmed shaman, horn-wearing people that infiltrated on the January 6th ordeal almost toppled the government. Well, it was a big insurrection. They were attempting to take over the government, and they made it almost all the way. And yet, on the other hand, don't own any guns because there's no chance that you'll ever take over the government. There's no chance that you'll ever stop us. Well, what about January 6th? I mean, you've been beating the bandwagon for a long time now, saying that those people almost, caused a revolution and they were all unarmed. So what is it? The point is, folks, is that this is just one more thing showing where we are in this country, where we are at in this stage of our society, and how bad it's actually getting. Also, I believe it was the day before, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the top military person in the United States, was being questioned in a congressional hearing meeting, and they were asking him about critical race theory in the military, and it is something that is being taught in the military. They're pushing this idea, this wokeness, and in fact, that was the question. That the military is trying to be woke. That's the new term for being ultra progressive. And of course, this general said that he was offended by that. Offended that someone would accuse him in the military of being woke. But then he went on to say that critical race theory is a good thing. He studied it, and he believes it's good, and he believes that it was part of what caused the January 6th thing, that what the critical race theory says, that white people are just bad, and we're all racist, and we all hate people. And that's what caused that hate, that white privileged and white supremacist hate is what caused the January 6th thing. Once again, anyone that's patriotic, anyone that speaks out against tyrannical government, anyone that speaks out and fights against corruption, anyone that draws the line in the sand. And this is something that we've seen going back all the way since November. We've seen this very blatantly since November. That we're all mental, that we all need re-education, that we all should be ostracized from the rest of society, that we should be put down like a lame dog. We've seen comments very similar to that over and over again by commentators and political pundits and even politicians. And now we're seeing it from the top general and, well, the top politician in the United States, basically saying that you're crazy if you think that you can, come in and try to take over our tyrannical dictatorship because you ain't got enough firepower. Folks, I know this sounds like one of them fear-mongering videos, and I even made one yesterday saying that I don't do it, but that's not what I'm talking about. This isn't about fear. This is about waking you folks up and realizing that, yeah, we're living in a day and age where there's infrastructure failures all over the place. There's been more of that. I'll make a video of over on Patreon today, talking about those things. There's all the hacking, there's all the wars and the rumors of wars, and there's the supply chain, and there's inflation, and there's a health crisis, and it looks like they're trying to push it even further now. Oh, there's a new wave coming in of a new variant. But you also need to realize the people that are doing this, the people that are running the show, they don't like you. They don't like you. And I think the only thing that has stopped them thus far from just ramrodding this entire Agenda 2030, Great Reset, Agenda 21 down everyone's throat is that they know that there are people like us that still exist on this planet. A lot of them are here in the United States, but man, you can't say that anymore because the last 12, 18 months has shown that there are certainly a lot of people around the world also that speak out and stand up against their government. And they want to put people like us down. They want to re-educate us. They want to, fill us full of their chemicals. They want to do all the kinds of stuff that we've been talking about for years. The kind of stuff that people have been talking and warning people about. And everyone's like, man, he's a conspiracy nut job. Government doesn't think like that. They don't think like that about us. That's not, they really, I think, genuinely have our best interest at heart. And yet we've seen over the past several months that that's just not the case anymore. We've seen how they think about us. We've seen that the leaps and bounds that they will go to any type of extent to push their agenda. There's nothing sacred anymore. Gloves are off. There's not shy about their agenda. They're not shy about what they're wanting to do, about what they will do. They'll call you every kind of name. They will segregate you from the rest of society. Folks, I think things are going to start getting a lot harder for us. I think that, and I've made videos on this before, most likely there is going to come a day where you're going to have to choose between standing firm on what you believe and risking your life, your possessions, and your family's life, versus bowing down and licking the hands that feed you and putting your chains around your neck. This has been foretold in the Bible. This has been talked about throughout all history, and we've seen it repeat itself over and over again, that's what happens when a government gets too big, too powerful, is they want it all. They want everything, and they want complete and absolute control and compliance. And when they don't get that from you, be prepared, folks. Be prepared for the things that will be done against those that still believe that we do have this inalienable right to freedom that was given to us by our Creator. And as much as our founding fathers had a lot of things going wrong with them, and I could go into that at length, the one thing that they had going right is that many of them truly believed this concept. And even if they only believed it for a certain few, or whatever the reasons that they believed it, they at least set some standards and started spreading that message around the world and throughout history. And those of us that still hold true to those beliefs, that freedom is for everyone, and my personal rights aren't something that you can take away. We're going to have some decisions to make, I feel, in our lifetimes. And if not in our lifetimes, most certainly in our children's lifetimes. And it's, you better start figuring out what you will do when they cross that line in the sand. And this is something I've said often, because I promise you, whatever it is and wherever it is you draw that line in the sand, at some point, they're going to step over it. And so you better be prepared of what your reaction is going to be, because it's going to happen eventually. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.